3 months after the fire, Ethan Parker stopped sleeping. Every single night, he woke up at exactly 11:58 p.m. And every night, he heard the same thing outside his bedroom window. Slow breathing. Heavy. Deep. Not human. At first he thought it was trauma from the fire. That's what the town therapist said. But Ethan knew better. 'Cause sometimes, he also saw fingerprints on the glass. Long fingerprints. Too long to belong to a person. And every morning by sunrise, they disappeared. Black Hollow had changed since the fire at house number 47. People stopped talking at night. Children refused to walk near Willow Creek Road. Dogs barked at empty streets. And then the disappearances began. Again. First, it was a gas station worker driving home after midnight. Then a teenage couple. Then an old hunter from the edge of town. No bodies. No blood. Nothing. Only one strange detail connected every victim. Before disappearing, each person reportedly heard someone whispering outside their home. Open the door. One freezing evening, Ethan sat inside the diner where his mother worked. Rain hammered against the windows. The TV behind the counter played news about another missing person. His mother looked worried. You still having those nightmares? Ethan stared silently at his untouched coffee. Then he noticed something strange. A little girl was standing outside the diner window, watching him. She wore an old white dress soaked from the rain. And she wasn't blinking. Ethan slowly stood up. The girl raised one hand and pointed toward the forest near Willow Creek Road. Then she vanished. Completely vanished. Ethan ran outside immediately. Nobody was there. Only wet pavement and cold wind. His chest tightened because he recognized the girl. She was one of the photographs from the old woman's house. That night, Ethan made a decision. He was done running. If the creature survived the fire, he would end it himself. So just before midnight, he drove back to the ruins of house number 47. The forest around the property felt dead. No insects. No birds. Nothing. Even the wind sounded wrong. Ethan grabbed a flashlight and stepped through the burned remains. Most of the house had collapsed. But something caught his attention near the basement. A metal door. Half hidden beneath ashes. Locked from the outside. His pulse quickened. He pulled the chain loose and slowly opened it. A horrible smell rushed out instantly. Rotten wood. Mold. And something worse. Something old. The basement stairs disappeared into darkness. Then, he heard whispering below. The exact same whispering from the night of the fire. Ethan swallowed hard and walked down. The basement was enormous. Far bigger than the house above it should have allowed. Strange symbols covered the walls. Candles melted onto the floor. And hundreds of clocks ticked together in complete darkness. Tick, tick, tick. At the center of the room stood a giant iron door covered in scratches. Deep scratches. As if something had tried to claw its way out. Ethan moved closer carefully. Then he noticed writing carved into the metal. Do not open after midnight. Suddenly, click. Every clock stopped at once. 11:59 p.m. The temperature dropped instantly. Ethan backed away. Then came the breathing. From behind the iron door. Slow. Hungry. Alive. A low voice echoed from the darkness. You came back. Ethan spun around. The old woman stood behind him. Or at least, something that looked like her. Her skin appeared pale and cracked now. Her eyes completely white. You're dead, Ethan whispered. The woman smiled sadly. No. Not yet. The iron door suddenly boomed from the other side. Dust fell from the ceiling. Ethan shouted. What is that thing? The old woman stepped closer. My son died during the blizzard of 1996. Another violent boom shook the room. I made a deal to bring him back. Her voice trembled. But grief blinds people. The lights flickered. What returned wasn't my son anymore. Ethan stared at the iron door. You trapped it here? For 30 years. Another slam bent the metal inward. But the fire weakened the prison. Ethan's breathing became shaky. Why me? Why is it following me? The old woman looked directly into his eyes. Because the creature needs a new keeper. Silence. Then Ethan remembered the final photograph. Now it waits for you. No, he whispered. The woman nodded slowly. It cannot exist freely in this world. Someone must contain it. The iron door suddenly cracked down the middle. A massive claw pushed through. Ethan stumbled backward in horror. The creature's voice came from the darkness now. Not growling. Speaking. Ethan. Its voice sounded almost human. Almost. You opened the door. The old woman grabbed Ethan's shoulders. Listen carefully. There is only one way to end this forever. Another claw ripped through the iron. You must destroy the heart. What heart? The creature carries the remains of my son's soul inside it. The room began shaking violently. If the heart is destroyed before midnight ends. She paused. Both of us die forever. Ethan looked at her in shock. You'll die too. A faint smile crossed her face. I should have died 30 years ago. The iron door exploded open. Darkness flooded into the basement like black smoke. And then the creature emerged fully for the first time. It was enormous. At least 8 feet tall. Its body twisted unnaturally. Bones cracked beneath its skin. Its glowing eyes looked almost animal-like. But the worst part was its face. Half human. Half monster. And somehow, still resembling a young boy. The creature screamed. Every clock shattered instantly. Ethan covered his ears in agony. The old woman pointed toward the creature's chest. A faint red glow pulsed beneath its ribs. The heart. The monster lunged. Ethan barely dodged as concrete exploded beside him. The basement lights burst one by one. Darkness swallowed the room. The creature moved impossibly fast now. Claws slashed Ethan's shoulder. Pain ripped through his body. He fell hard against the wall. The old woman began whispering strange words again. The symbols on the walls suddenly started glowing red. Chains burst from the floor and wrapped around the creature. It roared violently. Hurry! She screamed. Ethan grabbed a broken metal rod from the ground. The creature fought against the chains, shaking the entire basement. One chain snapped. Then another. Ethan ran forward. The glowing red light inside the creature's chest became brighter. The monster suddenly looked directly into Ethan's eyes. And for one horrifying second, its face changed. Back into the frightened face of a little boy. Help me, it whispered. Ethan froze. The old woman screamed. Don't listen. Too late. The creature broke free. It slammed Ethan across the room like a rag doll. His vision blurred. Blood covered the floor. The monster slowly approached him. Smiling now. Then the old woman stepped between them. Tears rolled down her face. I'm sorry, she whispered to the creature. For the first time, the monster stopped moving. Its expression changed. Confused. Almost sad. And in that moment, Ethan drove the metal rod straight into the glowing heart. The creature let out an inhuman scream so loud the basement ceiling cracked open. Black smoke exploded from its body. The clocks began spinning backward wildly. The old woman smiled peacefully at Ethan. Thank you. Then both she and the creature began turning into ash. The basement collapsed around them. Ethan barely escaped before the entire ruins of house number 47 sank into the earth forever. 6 months later, the disappearances stopped completely. Black Hollow slowly returned to normal. People slept peacefully again. No whispers. No breathing outside windows. No shadows in the forest. Everything was finally over. Or so Ethan believed. One snowy night he was locking up the diner when a little boy walked inside. Maybe 7 years old. Pale skin. Blue eyes. The boy smiled softly. Then he asked, Do you know where house number 47 used to be? Ethan's blood turned ice cold. Because around the boy's neck hung a small burned photograph. And on the back were written 4 terrifying words. Some doors never stay closed.